Okay guys, so today's day one for our boat hull tutorial for our CAD drawing, which is computer aided drafting. We're going to be using AutoSketch 9, which is a AutoCAD software program. The very first thing you're going to have to do is log into My Computers at your seats. And when you log in, you need to log in with your username and your password. Those should have been given to you the first day of school. If you're not sure what those are, you're going to need to be able to look those up because you have to be logged in to be able to do this, and then also save your work so that it doesn't disappear. So once you've logged in with your username and password, you're going to want to go to the bottom corner and click on the Start button, or in this top corner, you're looking for the thing that says Computer. And then if you look here, we're looking for the shareable drive, which is located right here, or letter K. In there, you're going to see there's a folder that's called Tech and Engineering. It's the first one. And we're going to go into 7th grade. And we've got all of these lovely people who saved their boat hull to the wrong place. That's not good. You just want boat hull template. So just find the one that says boat hull template and double click it. This is going to open up in AutoSketch for us. Now, if for some reason you forget anything I'm saying, in your engineering journals that I gave you the first day of school, you're going to find this tutorial. It's going to be around page 12, I believe, in your engineering journal. So access that, and you'll know exactly what to do. Or if somebody's absent and then they come back and they're not sure what to do, you can help them out by having them go to their engineering journal. Again, I think it starts around page 12. So this template here is for you guys. Now the very first thing we're going to do is save this into your drive. It should not go back into that shareable drive. So I'm going to come up here to the top corner. I'm going to go to File. And I'm going to hit Save As. Not Save, Save As. Now, I do not want to save it here. Up here at the top, I'm going to click and I'm going to look down, and I'm looking for something that has my name. Right here's my name. Now you'll see hopefully your name or your username that you logged in with the computer with. You'll click that. Now you're going to see a lot of files here for me. You should probably only see one file. It's going to say Internet. Now I'm going to double click on 7th grade, and I'm going to change the name, and I want to change it to Boat Hull, and then my name, Jonna. I'm going to keep it in all caps, Jonna Bonds. So boat hull and then your name, and then I'm going to hit save. Now if we look up at the top, you can see that it's been changed, which is great. Now the next thing we need to do is actually put our name, title our boat, and put the date. So all you have to do in this section down here is double click, and you're going to put your name. And remember, it's supposed to be all caps, don't forget. Oh my goodness, there we go. And over this side, I'm going to put 7.6 or whatever section you are. I'm just going to double click in this area. Oh, and if you have a really long name, if you don't want to write your full first name, you can just put like J.Bonds if you have a long last name. So if you have a longer name, you might run out of space. Today is December 15th, 2016. And my boat is the SS Bonds. All right. So I'm going to hit save now. And I've already saved that, so I just have to hit this little save button at the top. Okay, now this next thing I'm about to tell you is probably the most important thing that you can remember out of all of this. Every time you come in here, the AutoSketch program uses what we call snaps. Snaps help your lines snap to one of these beautiful lines on the grid. It actually makes it very easy for you. Well, over here on the left, this is our toolbar over here, you can see that there's some areas here that are highlighted with blue boxes. Those are our snaps. We want to turn the snaps off. And then the only snap that we want on is our grid line snap, which is right here. That's it. You should have nothing else blue. If anything else here is blue, it's going to be really frustrating for you. So make sure these are the only two that are on. That's your grid point snaps. All right, so looking at our design, this is a little different than your half scale because your half scale had the top, the side, and the end view. But now that we're full size, we don't have room for all that. So we're just going to focus on our top view and our side view. Those red lines are our construction lines. Eventually we will delete those. And you can see I already have some dimension lines on here. Now we'll have to add more dimension lines later, but this is just what we're starting with. Just like our half-scale sketch, the very first thing we're going to do is add our center line. So where we can draw lines is here along the sidebar. The very first line right here, if I hold down, I can draw a single line, a double line, segmented line, or I can come up to the top, and I like coming up to the top so I can actually see what I'm doing. I'm going to hit draw, line, and I want a single line. So I'm going to start in the back, and I'm going to connect it across, and I have a line. Now, if I right-click with my mouse, and you do want to use a mouse for this, you can see it's still red, and it's considered a construction line. I don't want that. So I need to select it, and I'm going to click on it. Notice how it's now like a pink color. Now, up here at the top, this is my toolbar for changing this. So I'm going to click it so that I make it a black line. And I don't want it, again, to be a construction line. I want it to be a center line. So I'm going to come down here to where it says center. And I want it to be the correct thickness. So the next line over is the thickness of line. And it should be at 0.010, which is what it's at, which is good. So now that I have my center line, the first thing I'm going to do is start to draw my visible object lines to show the top view of the shape of my boat. So I want to use my sketch as my guide. So I'd have my sketch out, my half-scale sketch, the one that was an orthographic drawing, not the pictorial. And I want to use that as my guide. Now before I start drawing, I want to save myself some trouble and time. So the very first thing I'm going to do before I even start drawing is to make sure that my line is black, that it's solid, because remember, a visible line is going to be a solid line. I'm going to change it to solid here. They don't call it visible here. I'm going to change it to solid here. And our object lines are going to be a thicker thickness. They're going to be 0.035. So I'm going to change it to that. Now I can get started with curving, drawing, and rounding off my tools, or my lines with my tools. So I'm going to start by drawing my design. So I'm going to go to draw a line. I'm just going to be a single, and I'm going to start in the front. Now if on my half scale drawing something was 4 blocks back, on here it's going to be double that, so it would be 8 blocks back. So you just have to make sure you're counting properly to make sure that everything's the same. And again, whatever you do on one side, you do the same thing on the other side. And if it comes back 4 blocks here, it's got to come back 4 blocks here. Now if you have curves like I do on mine, you're going to go to draw arc, and I like to do the 3-point. You could also try a 2-point arc. A 3-point arc, what you do is you click 3 times. So you're clicking at the base of the arc, at the center of the arc, and at the end of the arc. So 3 times. That's why it's at 3 points, because you're clicking 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So let me show that again down here. Clicking 3 times. The center, the edge, the center, and the other edge. And they should be the same. So I'm going to continue to draw my lines. So then I have another line that comes back to the back, and to the back. And then I have one that comes back at an angle, and then up, and over, and down. So this matches my rough sketch, or my half-scale sketch, excuse me. So another cool tool that you can use is a rounding tool, and it's to round edges. Over here on the left, if you come closer to the bottom, it's called the trim corner tool. If I click that and I want it to be slightly rounded, it's called trim round. I can click on 2 lines and it'll naturally round it for me, which remember, we want this boat to be hydrodynamic. So again, you click down here at the trim round, or the trim option, and I want mine to be rounded. So you click on the one line you want to trim and the other line you want to trim, and it automatically rounds it for you. I don't want this at the front of my boat, but I'm again going to show this to you so you can see it. So if you want, let's say, the front to be rounded, if you select those 2, it naturally rounds it for you. I don't want that, so I'm going to undo that. Now, another thing that I'm noticing as I'm moving my stuff around, if you zoom out really far and you can't see your project anymore, a way to easily and quickly get back to it right here at the top, if you click and then hit page, it always brings you back to what it should look like.